Hey everyone, I'm Joe Ferzoco.
And I'm Chris Ferzoco. And Joe, today we're actually going to do market statistics, and we're going to compare 2023 over 2022.
Very good. So we're going to do some year-end reviews here at the Jersey Shore. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you like what you see, please subscribe below, tap that bell for instant notifications, or hit the like button, and you'll be the first to get the most up-to-date market information and happenings down here at the Jersey Shore, not that Jersey Shore, and all the towns that we cover from Brigantine to Cape May and all towns in between. So we're looking at Ventnor, Margate, Longport, Ocean City, Somers Point, Strathmere, Sea Isle, Townsend's Inlet, Stone Harbor, Avalon, North Wildwood, Wildwood Crest, West Wildwood, Diamond Beach, Lower Township, Cape May, North Cape May, Villas, Delhaven, Cape May Courthouse, and Upper Township. If I missed you, sorry about that. We don't really need to forget about you, that's for sure. So Chris, we're going to be looking at some market stats here. Year-end review, 2022 to 2023. Why don't you get us started here? I think you're going to look at Ocean City first.
Yep, we're going to start in Ocean City, Joe. And what we're going to look at today, as always, we're going to look at the actual sales values, right? So the overall sales value. We're going to look at the number of properties that came on the market throughout the course of the year. We're going to look at the number of properties that it sold, and we're also going to look at the sale price versus list price.
Okay.
And this does include, folks, all property, meaning it could be a vacant lot, it could be a commercial unit, it could be a multifamily, single family condo, beachfront efficiency. It doesn't really matter. If it was for sale and it sold, we're including it in this statistical report today for you.
Perfect.
So in Ocean City, actually, we had an increase in value in 2023. We went up 13%, Joe. We went from just over $1 million in 22 to 1.23 million in Ocean City for the year 2023. So a nice increase there. As for the number of properties that came on the market, this one I thought was real interesting because, you know, in the changing market, nobody was selling, nothing was coming up for sale. We had virtually the exact same number of homes in 2023 come on the market that did in 2022. Same number.
How about that?
One property differential. Actually.
That's funny.
Yep. So as for the number of properties that it sold, we went from 795, Joe. We did drop about 14.5% down to 677. So just a moderate drop there. And the overall sale price to list price, we actually had a slight drop there too. We went down from 96.7% down to 95.9%, being very specific there.
Yeah.
But virtually there was no differential in the overall sale price to list price either. So very consistent in Ocean City year over year.
Yeah.
As for Sea Isle City, moving down the coast a little bit, we actually saw a slight decrease. This was interesting. One of the only towns that we saw a slight decrease in the overall sale price. It went from 1.48 all the way down to 1.41.
Wow.
Right, so very slight drop there. So nothing major, but it was one of the only towns that did have a drop.
Yeah, it was.
As for the number of properties that came on the market, we actually saw an increase in Sea Isle City. We went from 207 to 227.
Well, that's why your prices dropped, because you had too much inventory.
Too much inventory. They didn't sell. All right, so we actually had about 9.5% increase there. As for the number of properties that sold, we went from 171 down to 146. So again, about a 14.5% decrease there. And the overall sale price to list price showed exact same numbers year over year, just a little bit over 96%.
How about that?
Yep.
You know, Chris, it's really interesting when you start to look at it. You bring up Sea Isle with the average sale price, being that actually dropped, and the inventory actually was higher. And it truly, I think it's the only town that we have in our list here that did see that happen there. You know, another thing that I took of interest to as well is as we move down into the Wildwoods in the southern half of the county. When you look at the year-end review, you can start to look at the total number of properties as you talk about, like in each borough. And in each borough, when we talk about inventory and things like that, and the lack there of inventory, we did not average in any one of the towns, in any one of the Wildwoods, Lower Township, Cape May, North Cape May, anything. There was not every day one property came on the market in those towns. It didn't even average out to that.
Wow.
So it's pretty crazy when you look at that. Yeah, you could certainly have a day where you get 3 or 4, but then you could have 3 or 4 days where you have none. So it really is interesting how that worked out, that you're not even getting, on average, one property a day hitting the MLS in every specific borough. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So in 2023, North Wildwood, let's start there. Your average sale price compared to 2022 was the same. 533,000 in 2023, 539,000. Actually, so it was down a little bit, but not really too much there in 2022. So 533 was your average sale price in North Wildwood. Number of properties that were listed for sale in 2023 that came onto the market that listed was 302 as opposed to 335 in 2022. So not a big difference there, but again, a drop in the number of properties that came on. Look at the number of properties that closed. We had 213 properties close in all of North Wildwood in 2023, as opposed to 276 in 2022. So that was a drop of about 23%. Yep. List price to sale price, pretty identical, 2022 to 2023, as the sale prices were identical. We ran about 98.5 to 98% list price to sale price. Moving into Wildwood in itself, your average sale price actually was up. About 15%, $493,000 in 2023, opposed to $418 in 2022. Number of properties that were listed for sale, that dropped. We had 361 come on the market in Wildwood in 2023. So again, we didn't have one every single day, but almost. 434 came on the market in 2022. So that was a drop of 17%. Number of properties that closed, we only had 255 properties sell in all of Wildwood in 2023, as opposed to 303 in 2022. So that was a 16% drop there too. So again, you had 361 come on, 255 sold, so that's good. At least that there's more coming on that are selling. So at some point that has to equate into having more inventory for sale for everybody out there. List price to sale price again ran pretty similar, 98% list price to sale price in both years. So that's great news for sellers there. Moving into Wildwood Crest, your average sale price jumped up 6% from 634,000 last year. Average sale price in 2023 was $673,000. Number of properties that came on the market was down, 243 compared to 280 the year before. And the number of properties that sold, there was 194 that sold in 2023 as opposed to 278. So it was a pretty big jump there. That was about 30% drop.
Sure was.
And the number of properties that closed in Wildwood Crest. List price to sale price, again, ran right around 96.5, 97% list price to sale price, 96.5 in 2023, 97% in 2022. So moving into Diamond Beach Sea Point Village, pretty identical. Average sale price was $735 in 2023, $717 in 2022.
Okay.
Number of properties that came on the market, we had 30 come on the market in all of 2022. 30 came on the market in all of 2023. So only 41 the year before. So there's not a lot of inventory that comes on the market in the Sea Point Village, Diamond Beach area, which of course, if something hits, you got to make sure you're reaching out to a real estate expert like the Ferzoco Group to get you that listing in there. List price to sale price in both years ran right around 98%. So all solid news there as far as your list price to sale price. Cape May, big jump there. You had about a 22% increase in your average sale price in 2023, jumped up to 1.48 million in 2023 as opposed to 1.1 in 2022. Number of properties that come on the market, there was a big drop here too. 106 came on the market this year, 171 in 2022. So that was about a 38%. Yeah, it was a 38% drop there. And then the number of properties that sold, we did have 90 sell. So that was almost a 1-to-1. Number of properties came on the market in Cape May, 90 sold, and 144 sold in 2022. So that was about a 37% drop there too. List price to sale price, it was down compared to the year before. We had a 96% list price to sale price ratio as opposed to 98% in 2022. However, in 2023, you were starting $300,000, almost $400,000 higher. So I think I'd rather have that instead. So why don't you jump offshore for us, Chris, there in Upper Township?
Yeah, diving right into Upper Township here. So we look at the overall value, Joe. We had an increase there too. So the primary home market was up about 14.5%. We went from 425 to 488,000. So nice jump there for the overall value. Number of properties coming on the market did drop about 22%. We went from 235 down to 182. And the number of properties that sold also dropped about 22%. That went from 158 all the way down to 123.
Yeah.
So some big drops there in the number of properties coming up for sale and selling at the same time. Yeah. Now, the sale price to list price also dropped, Joe. One of the bigger drops that we saw, again, just about 3%, went from 98% down to 95%. Still seeing pretty much in all the towns that we're covering, everything is still getting about 95 and higher.
Yeah.
We haven't dropped below that yet, so it's just something to keep an eye on. And when you look into Summers Point, another area, another increase in value overall through the whole year of 23 over 22. We went from 380 up to $413,000. That's an 8.5% increase there in Summers Point.
Right.
As for the number of properties that came on the market, we did have an increase actually here in Summers Point. We went from we had a decrease. We went from 313 down to 257. So we actually had an 18% decrease.
Yeah.
And the number of properties that sold actually dropped down 21%. We went from 203 down to 160 in Summers Point.
Yeah.
And the sale price to list price, exact same at 98%.
Okay.
Yep,
That works for
steady.
home. Yeah, steady. When we look into like North Cape May, so sticking offshore in the southern half of the county, North Cape May. So your average sale price was up about 14% in 2023 compared to the year before. So that's great news there. $485,000 was your average sale price in North Cape May for 2023. Number of properties that came on the market, again, another drop there. We had 115 come on in all of North Cape May this past year in 2023 as opposed to 140 in 2022. The number of properties that sold, we had 101 that closed this past year as opposed to 113 the year before. So not a real big difference in the number of transactions in North Cape May as far as closed property, pretty even there, 101, 113. Average sale price, list price to sale price, again, right around 98, 98.4, 98.5% there, list price to sale price, although you were starting at 495,000 this past year in 2023. Moving into Cape May Courthouse, not a big difference there. You did have an increase in your average sale price. 404,000 was the average sale price for a property in Cape May Courthouse as opposed to 391 in 2022. So it went up, not a huge difference, but it was still trending in the right direction for a seller. Number of properties that came on the market, not a big change there either. 261 for the year in 2023, 270 the year before. And as far as the number of properties that sold, we had 167 close in 2023. We had 202 in 2022. And your list price to sale price, both years ran right around 97%. And of course, with having identical sale prices there, you started at 417 this year. You started at 403 in 2022. So, the one thing I would say, Chris, for the southern half of the county, when we're looking at that, as I mentioned before, even if I remember the days we'd be doing a market analysis for a seller or something like that, and they'd be at we had 302 properties come on the market in North Wildwood for the year. I remember there'd be 300 properties for sale in the month. At any given time in North Wildwood, and now here we are. That's just how many that come on in a year. So definitely, still, that inventory is something that still something we're going to be working on here and taking a look at. Prices continue, as you said, in pretty much every town that we had, except for Sea Isle, where the average sale price was up anywhere from 3% to 14, 15%. So things to look at.
I think when you take a look at the numbers and if you roll this video back and you write them out, you're not going to find one town, from my recollection, that was a 2-to-1 ratio, 3-to-1 ratio, 4-to-1 ratio of homes coming on the market versus homes that sold, right? Through the entire year. We're not even there yet. We're not even at a 2-to-1 ratio yet. Right. I think one of the closest towns I cover, being Ocean City, was probably the closest one to having that happen. But I can tell you right now, standing here watching this video, the overall number of properties for sale is about 273 properties available. That was the same number that ran all year. That's the number we've been running for the last 2 years, has been 250, 260, 280, and then it trickles back down. So none of the towns are really exploding with inventory here, folks, is my point. So we've been running very consistent. Yes, you hear 1,300 came on the market, only 700 sold in Ocean City. Yeah, well, that's the case, but you still have properties that then get removed from the market. They expire if they don't sell. Sellers change their mind. Those numbers decrease.
Sure.
But the good news is, really the silver lining is we are seeing more inventory coming up. People are looking to sell. The sellers are getting the values of their home. Buyers are seeing the value in the home. They're paying it. And buyers are in the marketplace. So it really is a great time, virtually never been a better time. to buy or sell, because as the real estate says, the best time to buy was 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
And you'll say that 5 years from now?
And 5 years from now, you say the same thing. Yes, absolutely, Chris. I think there's a gap between how many you're closing and how many are coming on.
Yeah.
It's not 2 to 1, but there is a difference. The difference being on the positive end of an increase in inventory. So again, it's a building block. You continue to build on it, and at some point in time you start to get to maybe to that 2 to 1 ratio, for every 2 that come on one sell.
Yeah, and just to remember too, folks, one of the things in the stats that we don't have here is we're talking about homes that came on the market and homes that sold, meaning they're closed. There's a whole host of homes in the middle here that are under contract.
Yeah.
Right. So that's also, that inventory has been extracted out too. So, there's a lot of variables here. We try to give you as much as possible for you to wrap your head around what's going on. But ultimately, look, if you need to know what's going on in the real estate market, you're curious about buying at the shore and you want some information, or you're thinking of selling here at the shore and you want some information, call us, reach out to us. As Joe always says, we'll be more than happy to help you with whatever you're trying to accomplish. But it's always best to make sure you're contacting a professional real estate agent like Joe and myself down here at the shore versus speculating at home where your market might be significantly different than what we're experiencing here.
100%, Chris. So that's going to put a bow on 2023. And again, if you have any questions about the real estate market here at the shore, give us a call, shoot us a text or an email. This week, next month, 6 months from now, or a year from now, please feel free to reach out. Give us a call, shoot us a text or an email. We'll be more than happy to help you with all your real estate needs here at the Jersey Shore. That's Chris. I'm Joe. And until next time, we'll see you at the beach.